that's done. You guys are good with that. Let's bounce on to the next piece.
Oh my. Let's go. You get a chance. You mess up, you mess up. How are you absent? So you were absent. That's still absent. What thing was angle boom again? Conveniently, every single kid, every senior on Friday was sick. Conveniently.
My mom called for today, not Friday.
She should have hit it with the go trip, like, oh, that was my box, you know.
No, but so that's not even, that's not that big.
And then, I think she had to come in like, you raise your kids the way you want to raise them.
Treat them like DMV
The
workers.
way I want. I was like, period, mom.
Or you should treat her as a DMV worker.
No, it was in Spanish.
You know, speak English.
The lady speaks Spanish.
Right.
I feel like,
Just like the tone in Spanish, it sounds the way when
yeah, for sure.
It sounds like.
Has more than one building on it. Or have certain machinery that stays and is not something that they're gonna pick up and take with them at the end of the transaction. So kind of give you a scenario here, and I'm gonna print you guys out something like this for a kind of a check yourself type study guide, where I'll put it online. At some point here, as soon as we cover them all. But this is saying, okay, assigning costs and lump sum purchases. It says TPI purchased a factory for a lump sum of $500,000, right? So the factory was, what did you say, 500,000? Also goes on to say plus 5,000 closing costs paid via bank. So plus let's call it closing. The fair value of each of the components of the purchase is given below. So they're going to give you what you got with the purchase. So in that purchase, so we know right now we're all in at what?
505,000.
5,000, right? Well, it says right now your land appraised at 44,000. Right? It says your building is coming in at 32,000. It shows that your equipment comes right in at 324. Now, you see anything wrong with this picture? Yeah, are you gonna be an idiot that spends 505 grand on something that's not 505 grand? Right? So right now, that's somebody that better have their resume updated and be able to apply for a job before their references checked with their own employer. Nevertheless, we gotta apply some. I'll give you a chart. Okay, and that chart's gonna look like such. Assets. Appraised value. What else do I have? portion cost, so this is a big deal. So we got a percent of value. Well, keep in mind, we're all in it. What?
5,000.
505. Okay. So my percent of value is going to be a percent of what we actually, what things are worth, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to bother with that just yet, but you can fill in this box right now because you know the purchase price is 505K, right? All the way down. This one will probably be a box that says total. And it's just going to be the total value for each one of these, right? Purchase price total was 505. Okay. Now the percent of value, we got to figure out what all these add up to. So let's figure out what. Oh crap, that's one. We're gonna go 44. So we got what? I got 6 and 324. Okay, so 400 is the number I'm gonna use, right? This 400,000, that's what this box tells you, because you can basically just take the total. So now your portion cost is gonna be what percent of that 400,000 is each one of these assessed value or appraised values come in at? So if we take 44,000 and divide by 400,000. We get 0.11. So the percent of value here is going to be 11% or 0.11. Okay? We're going to relive this, revisit it for every one of those different values, right? So what is a percent of value for the 32,000? 0.08, so 8%, right? Now we want to figure out what the 324, see what the 324 comes to. Now, if we did this correct, all that should add up to what? 100. 100%, yeah, 1. Okay. So now, to get our portion cost, we're going to use this. Okay. So if I take that, and we're going to use our, now we're using our 505. So for the first one, I could do this one since I set out 0.81 in there. I'm going to take 0.81 and go times 505,000, which was what we paid. So I know I'm going to apply the portion cost to this, 409,050. Okay? So when I start depreciating, I'm not depreciating from 324, I'm depreciating from what the portion cost of that piece of equipment is. Crap. Then what was the other one? 0.08 times 2,000. Oh crap. 40,400. And then last but not least, the 0.11. We get 55,550. Here's a quick way to check yourself. when you add these up, you better get what? 505K, right? You better, or you screwed up somewhere. So that's the way that you kind of check yourself to see if you go, oh, man, I entered something on the calculator, it worked or didn't work. So 55,550 plus 40 grand plus 409,050. 409,050.
You forgot to add the 40,000. It's 40 grand, 400.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Super solid. 505. Right. And that would be done. They ask you to find the portion cost for it, you just found it. For the land, it's 55,000, not 44. Okay. So when he checks on that, now would be a good time for you guys to ask if there's something that's not clicked and not making sense. How do we get X, Y, or Z? That would be the time to ask. Yeah.
What's the word in the last one? The last box.
Apportioned cost, which is gonna be the question that you'll probably hit you with. What's gonna be a portion cost for each item? So that's what you have. I would say when you get your chart, if you're smart, focus on this first. Because you know that divided by that gives you that, that divided by that gives you that, that divided by that gives you that. Now, that box is done, right? Then it's just a matter of taking what you paid for it, multiplying it by those percentages to get the portion cost. That's it. That's all you're doing. To make it harder, why? Checks on it? Okay, so that was the portion cost. You guys got enough brain power to do another one?
Yeah.
I just been recording. What's good? Huh?
What does it say next to assets?
Next to assets. I think that is app value. Hey, Mr. Fitz, is it app value right next to assets?
Say what?
Is it app value next
Appraised
to?
value.
Oh, appraised value. Okay. And then what is the one next to appraised value?
Percent of value.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was a 7.
No. Everybody give me that because I gotta erase it.
Yep.
Yep.
The next one's gonna be a little bit more math related. But I'll just read it.
Actually, I identified.
You're white. You're white. Stop. Shut up.
Actually, I'm actually,
Oh no, where's Sagittarius? You're just like me.
Sagittarius. She just.
Where are you? No.
Yeah, I'm 7.
Scorpio. When were you born?
November 15th.
Oh, okay.
I know about
You know that
8.
you're Gemini? Stop hitting me.
Wait, what day?
What?
What day is your birthday?
40.
Or what?
Sunday.
December.
I wasn't
But
asking.
you're still,
Yeah.
Right, so let's look at this calculations involving divisions of net income, which is something that'll probably come up a lot, especially if you are a business and you sell part of the business or bring on another owner, right? To raise capital for whatever reason. Okay? So here's the scenario. It says Jack and Jill are partners in J&J Incorporated. The balance of their capital accounts at the beginning of the year are $70,000 and $90,000. Okay. So So again, this might help you too. I'm gonna put, I'll put Jack. I'll put Jill. I know right now their capital balances are 40,000, or what did I say there? Capital accounts here are 70 and 50 respectively.
Australia?
Yes. The net income for the year is 80,000. Okay, so now there's gonna be some scenarios that we gotta figure out. Run your answers to the nearest whole dollar. Calculate each partner's total share of the net income for the given condition. Okay? Net income was what?
80.
We gotta figure out how they're split. Okay. So the first scenario says, scenario 1, which we'll call 0. Why did it, why? It says split equally.
40-40.
So if it's equal, yeah, we get 40. Jill will get 40. Everybody's happy so far, right? Man, no brainer. Next one says a ratio of 5 to 3.
Okay. Jack gets 50. Joe gets 30.
That's right. 5 to 3. Right. Anybody have a question on how we get that 50 and the 30 when it's a 5 to 3 ratio?
Wait, what?
5 to 3 ratio. Is there any questions on how we're getting 50 and 30?
Wait, what's the 5 and 3 ratio?
It's a ratio of, is a percentage, if you will. Still, you can make it a fraction of percent of what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So, what you gotta remember is from the beginning, if you remember, it's, we'll get to that in a second. But when it's 5 to 3, that means how many total parts are there? 8. So if I take 80,000 divided by 8, that's 10 grand, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 of those parts is 50,000. 3 of those parts is 30,000. You know you screwed up if this ever is in excess or below the value for the net income, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you pay somebody 50 and 30 if you only need 70? Yeah, you can't, right? So there's your ratio 5 to 3 split, right? Oh boy. Then it says in the ratios of balances of their capital accounts at the beginning of the year. 70 and 90 is really just 7 and 9, right? Do you agree?
Yep.
70,000 and 90,000 cancel out the zeros. You just got a 7 to 9 ratio, which means how many parts are there now? Okay, try again.
70.
16, which means
Cut it out.
80 divided by 16 is what? 5 grand.
Yep.
Okay. 5 times 7 is
35.
9 times 5.
45.
That satisfies the ratio based on their capital account. So far, so good? Questions on that? If you're not taking notes, you're on your own and you will fail. So I'm just letting you know now. I'm being real. I've seen it every year. So you do you play on your cell phone. I'm not gonna yell at you, but don't cry to me when your grade goes from an A to an F because you bombed the test that I basically showed you how to do. So,
Wait, Mr. Fitz?
let's see what our next situation or scenario is. A salary allowance of 32 grand and 24 grand, and then the remaining divided equally. We said 32 and 24, right? So I know right now, 32 plus, and then 24 plus. Well, 32 and 24 is what? 66?
Yep.
So 80 minus 66 gives me what?
14.
14,000 to be split in half.
7 grand.
Which means 7. 7, that brings this total over here to 39 grand, right? 24 and 7, 31K, right? No, we're off.
Is it 56,000?
Where am I at?
What?
It's 56,000.
What did I write?
What?
Did you say 66,000? 32, 44?
No, it's 39,
Yes. What did I say, right? 32, 24. Oh, yeah, so there's an extra 10, right?
Yeah.
So I gotta add 5, which means there'll be a 12 here. You gotta have 5, which means there'll be a 12 here. So that does change, that looks better now. So now I got 44 grand, right? That looks a lot better. And then I have 36. 36 and 44, give me an 80. Say yes. Good. And we know we're good. Okay. Next scenario. We might want to pay attention. Interest allowance of 9% on their balances of their capital accounts at the beginning of the year. So they're gonna get 9% of their capital account right off the bat, correct?
Yep.
So if we take that 9%, if I go 9 times 7 is what? 5,400, right? And then it's gonna be plus something else. And if I go, you say 9%?
Yep.
9 times 9?
8100.
8,100.
Huh?
Okay? So now when I take this 80 minus your 5,400. Yep,
You said 9 times 7, 9 times 7, right? 9 times 7?
6,300, right? What is, no, yeah, that should be 63. Good, no big deal. No, I just gotta redo this because. Minus, what did you say, 63? Minus 8,100? Yep. Now, this is gonna be divisible by 2 because it says the remainder to be divided equally.
Right.
36,445, right?
Yep.
So I gotta do a little math there, 36 is 42, 745, right?
Yep.
42, 745, correct?
Yep. 44, 545.
44, 5, 4, 5. We are off. We're way off. That's good. No big deal, wow.
Not really. Mistakes happen. Like you're really happy. Like you're really happy.
For interest allowance, 9% on the balance of the applicants of the unit. Remainder divided equally.
Don't do that. You should give me a pen.
Well, I have the pencil out there.
Wait a minute, that's what I did. 63.
100. Minus.
It's gonna be 32. That's the problem. 32. Right?
Yep.
We adjusted to 63, we never adjusted this.
You just subtracted the other.
32, 8, 32, this should be perfect.
Triple it out.
So,
You got it. Triple it out.
32, 4,100, 41,000.
Yep.
40,900.
Yep.
Can't be.
So.
39,000.
How's it 100 if it's 3 and 8? God damn.
39,100. Yep. Good.
Add them up.
And then over here we have what? 40,900, correct? Yep.
Yeah.
So now, those two values should still total what?
80.
Alright, so that's always a way you kind of check yourself. Make sure you take your time when you're pushing the numbers in, 'cause if you get one wrong, it'll screw everything up. You guys need to focus a little more on what you guys are doing. Alright, here we go. Last piece. Any checks on that one? Salary allowances of 34,000 and 23,000.
Okay.
Okay. So let's kind of just keep that in mind. 30, what did I say, 34 and 23? So now I got 34 plus something. We got 23 plus cash payment. Plus something. I don't know what the something is yet, but it will, because there's more to it. Salary allowances of 34 grand and 23 grand, and interest allowances of 12% on the balances of their capital. So I gotta figure out 12% of 70, right?
Yep.
0.12 times 70. 8,400, right?
Yep.
There may be a plus at the end of this too, right?
Yep.
I don't know if there's gonna be anything left over. I gotta take that 23 grand, right? And multiply it by, no I don't, we gotta take the 90,000 times 0.12, and I get 10,800.
Yep.
So now we gotta total all that up and see if there's anything that's gonna be left from the 80. Right? 10,800 plus 23 grand plus 8,400 plus, what did I do? Very sure that up. We got 73 grand. So everybody got?
73,200.
What? 73,000?
72,000. That's what.
Uh,
73,200.
I left something off then where I had it.
42.
You got the 8 and the 4.
I probably thumbed something up here, yeah, good for that. There it is. What was that, 10,000?
7600. Shit.
76.2, right?
Yep.
So if we subtract that from, what was our net, 80?
80. 30.
That means I got 3,800 that's gotta be split evenly, right? 1,900. So now, that's where I said there might be another plus, remember? Plus 1,900. Plus 1,900. Total all those up, and that would be what they got, given that specific scenario. Okay? Should be 44, 300, right? 44.3 and 35.7.
Should be. Jack's 44.3.
Yeah. That's it.
Cool.
In those scenarios, right? So as long as you know how to crunch those numbers, usually the kids that kind of screw up or get confused are the ones that don't really understand ratios or how they work, right? So don't make it harder than it is. Those are 3 of the 5, right? Those are 3 of the 5 types of questions. Depreciation, a portion, assigning cost to a lump sum purchase, which is apportioned costs, right? And then just break down the net income based on various criteria, right? It's not atypical to have businesses set up to where somebody is a majority owner. Or if you have more than 1 or 2 people in there, the percentages are not always 50-50, right? And typically, if you're smart, you buy into something, right? I have investments where I'm a minority owner, but I have minority expenses, right? And but I get the minority revenue also. So it's a give and take type deal. I would say probably try to veer away from any deal to where it is equity based on an initial investment and then expenses and revenues, or expenses split equally and revenue shared based on percentage of ownership. Because that's a losing battle, right? Why would you pay an equal amount of expenses but not collect an equal amount of revenues? Right? But it happens a lot. So tomorrow, I wanna do, so that's 3, we can get 2 more done tomorrow. Yeah, we can get 2 more done tomorrow.
I have a question.
Yeah,
How did we get plus 12?
did you get what?
How did we get that plus 12 up there?
Right here?
Uh-huh.
The scenario and the whatever it was?
Uh-huh.
That's what was left over after their split,
Oh, okay.
right? There's 24 grand left over.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I think that was the 32 and the 24,000 respectively. Yeah, one got 32, one got 24, then they split the remainder. So when you take 32 and 24, add them together and subtract it from 80,
Mm-hmm.
it's only 24 grand left. So they split that equally, 12 and 12.
So then they get half of it,
Half and
which is
half.
12 and 12? Oh, okay. Which is how we got that 12.
Yep,
Oh, okay.
makes sense?
Yep.
And we'll pick up some more on that, yep.
Sorry, how do you get a 35, 45?
Where am I at? 35, 45, where are you?
7-9 ratio.
35, 40, 7-to-9 ratio. Because it says, oh, if it's a 7-to-9 ratio, right now I know there's how many parts? 16. 7 plus 9 is 16. So when I take that 80 grand, and divide it by 16, I get 5 grand. 7 times 5, 35. 9 times 5, 45. Make sense? Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, the ratio part. You gotta understand how that works. Ratios are just, add the 2 damn numbers, we'll reduce the number whenever you can, and then add them together, and that'll tell you how many parts you got. A lot of knuckleheads would have left that, 70 to 90, right? It's 7 nines, 7 to 9. 70 to 90 doesn't do you good. Oh, Lord, let me check this, if this